to listen to this next segment. This is big news, potentially. This is from Nikki Javala from the Washington Post from a few
she's
days
plugged
ago.
in.
She is plugged in. She covers the Commanders. Part of her article from a few days ago, one of the headlines, it's like the third or fourth headline, Gibson is, quote, on the cusp. Antonio Gibson could provide Washington with an alternative roster scenario. The wide receiver turned running back said last week he's in the best shape of any training camp, and in Bieniemy's offense, he has been used more as a pass catcher, a role he has long hoped for. Gibson has been used in the backfield and out wide. With his size and experience at the position, perhaps the Commanders will keep fewer wide receivers so they can bolster the roster at other positions.
Not buying it, Cakes. I am not buying it. I think Antonio Gibson will be used even less. They drafted Chris Rodriguez. He's diminished now, just a third down running back. Brian Robinson's going to be the bell cow. He'll get some work, but I believe that his total numbers, let me look what he had last year, will be less than last season.
I can't wait to bet on Antonio Gibson and overstate what his role is going to be in the offense.
Do you have FanDuel numbers?
I'm ready to take on any bets.
I'm just going to take the total yardage from Antonio Gibson last season. All right.
Okay.
Well, I want to see what do they
total yardage last season from Antonio Gibson. You're going to have to add this up.
Okay.
Do they have the
He
props
had 546 yards rushing.
Okay.
And he had 353 yards receiving.
Okay, so that is 899 total yards.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
All right, you'll take under. I have to take the over. I'm a Gibby truther. I have to take the over.
By the way, you use that word truther a lot. Isn't
Yeah.
that really for like conspiracy theories? So what is the truther part of Antonio Gibson?
I think
that
it just means
there's a conspiracy to hold him
He
back.
means he's a believer.
I think it just means you're in the tank for somebody. You can also use truther as for example, I'm a Trey Lance truther. Now that one's not working out so well for me because things just aren't going so well for Trey Lance in San Francisco.
I know it means in his world. I just don't know that he's using it properly, that word. Maybe he is. I know he believes in Antonio Gibson.
What do you care? Just let him
I'm taking the under.
Okay.
You believe that he's going to get...
I know he's going to. He will lead the backfield in grabs.
I don't disagree with that. But I just think he's going to be a third down back. And they drafted this guy, Rodriguez, for a reason, who they're also hyping up.
True.
And they believe in Brian Robinson. They drafted the year before. All I've seen this team do since they had Antonio Gibson as a rookie is draft other running backs.
I've been saying this this is going on 4 years now. And I'll say it again. Wheels up for Gibby 2023. Wheels up. This is there.
Look,
it's never been a better opportunity for him than this year.
I think he's a good player. I mean, his rookie season, he had 11 touchdowns.
I know.
He ran for 4.7 yards a pop. Last year, he ran for 3.7 yards a pop.
I believe in Gibby so much that I'm not even going to put an injury caveat on the bet. I'm just betting it.
God bless Nikki. I think it's a very solid report of what they're planning to do in Bieniemy's offense. But them flaring him out at receiver, okay. But there's guys named Terry McLaurin and John Dotson who are going to be out there.
You know what Eric Bieniemy likes to do? EB2. You know what he likes to do? Screens. Screen game.
Okay.
Guess
what?
That's Gibby's.
Haven't you heard reports that Brian Robinson's been good catching the ball out of the backfield?
He's not as good as Gibby at catching balls out of the backfield. I still think Gibby is in the lead there. And I guess I kind of believe Ron here. Ron's quotes. I think he's on the cusp to really ascend. I think what we've done and what we're doing on the offensive side is going to help him be featured a little more. I wish he said a lot more, but he said a little more, especially in space.
Takes. So I'm looking at the rushing props on FanDuel.
Yes.
So for 700, I just wanted to go something reasonable.
Okay.
750 plus regular season rushing yards.
Okay. For Gibby. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to look for who they had available.
Okay. Got it.
They don't have Gibby in here. Which maybe if we could, is there a way I can ask him what the number for Gibby is? Because for Brian Robinson, it's minus 115.
Okay.
I don't know if I would.
For 700 rushing yards?
750.
Okay.
Do you like that?
Well, obviously he likes it. He just took the over.
No,
on,
but
what's our total? We've got to put it in the book,
Gibson.
Cakes.
This is for Brian Robinson, though.
Oh.
This is for Brian
Misheard.
Robinson. They don't have. So for 1,000 yards, they have Brian Robinson plus 300. FanDuel seems to think Brian Robinson is going to get the bulk of the carries.
Well, this is basically what the team has said when Gibson says and the team has said that Gibson's taking over the McKissick role.
Hey, look, here's all I need. I've done the simple math. All I need is 400 rushing yards from Antonio Gibson. That's very doable, especially if Robinson gets hurt or Chris Rodriguez is just a goal line specialist. Just give me 150, basically less rushing yards, and get to 500 receiving yards. That's my number, 900, and I win the bet. I think that's very doable for Antonio Gibson. Very, very doable.
Do you realize when McKissick had his best season in Washington in 2020, he had 80 catches, 589 yards.
Well, that's I would blame that on Alex Smith, because I'm guessing that's during the Alex Smith year when Alex Smith was doing nothing but checking the ball down to J.D. McKissick.
I'll acknowledge. I think it'll be close to the number. What's the number? We need to put this in the book.
I'll put it in the book.
And I'd like to make it a $10 bet.
Sure, $10. You think I care about $10 at this
put that
point?
in the bet book?
$10 bet. Let's consummate
What's
this
the
thing.
total number? I just want to remember this.
899 total yards.
Should I check your math? Because you've never been great at math.
546 plus 353. 6 plus 3 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. 5 plus 3 is 8.
All right, let's ask the listeners. Do we believe Antonio Gibson is going to have a breakout season?
All right, wait. Before I agree to $10,
no injury caveat.
Then it's a $5 bet. Because Antonio Gibson can break his leg in week 2, and then my bet is torpedo, and I owe you $10.
It's gambling.
I'm willing to bet $5 unless you give me an injury caveat. I bump it up to 10. We'll have to negotiate.
Fine, stupid injury caveat.
Yeah,
Take
has
it.
to play.
So if it's an injury, then it's just a wash.
Yeah, but
no, 12 games.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say missing a game or two.
12
That's
games.
expected.
Now he's got to do a lot of heavy lifting in 12 games.
How do you think they're going to share the rushing? Like, how do you see them splitting carries?
I think Robinson is the lead back, but look, Ron doesn't want to overtax Robinson, so he'll probably get, I don't know,
15?
Let's do the mental math
15?
here. 12 to 14 carries per game.
All right.
You sprinkle in Gibby with
5 or 6.
5 or 6, and Rodriguez 2 or 3. What does that get you to? Mid-20s in rushing?
I don't think they're going to give
mid to high.
I think you think they're going to give Rodriguez 2 or 3. I don't think Rodriguez is going to be active unless some of those other guys.
You know what? I hope he's not active. That means more playing time and more catches for Gibby.
I think Jonathan Williams has a role still.
He might.
Because he's a horse.
He is.
He's a big guy.
He's been reliable.
He's a big guy, I think, on teams. Don't sleep on him. I like Rodriguez, but I don't think he's going to be active.
I think if you're Antonio Gibson and you're betting on Antonio Gibson, you want him to touch the ball
15 times.
8 to 12 times per game. Something in that range. Now, he's got to be efficient. He's got to be productive. He's got
8 to 12 times is going to be hard to have like a breakout season.
Now, I would like him to touch the ball 15 times per game, but I'm not the head coach. I'm not Eric Bieniemy.
Right.
I'm just a guy who's been rooting for Gibby since day one.
And look, in year 1, he was great.
He's always been underutilized in the passing game. Now I think Eric Bieniemy's like, why are you guys only throwing him the ball 40 or 45 times? This guy can have 60 catches in my offense. He might.
This is Cakes who always does the over in production for
my,
every offensive player.
It's in my DNA.
Like, he's a big Dotson guy. You believe in McLaurin.
Mm-hmm.
You like Logan Thomas. Now you
no.
Okay.
I've
you like Cole Turner.
I've softened on.
Okay.
I'm okay with Cole Turner. I've softened on Logan Thomas with his banged up calf. It sounds like that's healing pretty slowly. Like, my expectations for him every day are ticking down a little bit.
I can't see. You think Gibson's going to catch 8 balls in a game?
Does he have the potential to catch 8 in a game?
Of course he has the potential.
Sure, but no.
He's not going to.
No.
All he has to do is catch, what is it, 17 games? What's 17 times 4? 40. That's like, is that 58 or 68?
Well, 15 times 4 is 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just catch
68.
Just catch 3 or 4 balls per game. That gets me right on track. That's 60 grabs.
I think Brian Robinson can catch balls too, though.
Sounds like that's been underutilized.
He's bitter that Brian Robinson has shown the ability to catch.
I'm hoping that that's a short-term thing for Brian Robinson.
So they draft Antonio Gibson, EB, and the next year they draft a running back, and then the next year draft another running back. I don't think they believe in Antonio Gibson very much.
Well, the one good thing you do
they
have
believe
going
him
for
as a
you.
receiver, not as much as a running back.
By the way, I think he's looked a little better as a running back. He looks like he's a little tougher this year. And Logan commented on the broadcast. I've heard several people say it. That he looks like he's in the best shape of his career.
Gibby.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because he knew he's on the verge of extinction, and Washington, he better get his ass in shape.
Well, he knows.
Just like he knew the year before when he was fumbling all the time that Coach Rivera didn't love him.
This is also an audition year for Antonio Gibson. He's in the last year of his rookie deal. And whether he re-signs here or elsewhere, he wants to put more good performances on tape for his next employer if it's not here in D.C.
All right, let's go to Steven and only. Steven, what's up?
Good morning, guys. How are you all?
Hey,
Hello.
good.
Thanks for taking my call. But EB, I think I actually have a solution for you.
For what?
I know that you feel slighted with everybody calling Bieniemy EB and taking away from your moniker.
Well, I mean, stealing my brand. But, yeah, other than that.
Well, I'm going to go save your brand.
All right.
Why don't we go and refer to Bieniemy as CB, as Coach Bieniemy? This way there's no problem with taking your name, and this way everybody is happy.
Right. That's what I do. I call him Coach Bieniemy. You're not going to hear me call him EB. That ain't happening.
Well, we don't even need to go
you
call him
convince the
Bieniemy.
other people to do
CB.
that.
Yeah. I believe
Just call him CB.
Believe me, I feel a sense of betrayal when my comrades here at the station call him EB. There's a
You feel like
small
you're getting stabbed in the back?
small knife.
Yeah.
It's stabbing me in the back.
It's
Every
I
time.
could tell
in there.
yesterday when Logan Paulson came in and he dropped EB like 10 times and wasn't talking about Eric Bickle. It irked you.
That's my name.
You've established a beachhead with EB over the last quarter century plus.
It's my friggin' town. I was here before him. I'll be here
and
after
now
him.
some
God willing.
carpetbaggers coming in and trying to
What's
steal
the-
the
The
what's-
guy's going to be here for 6 months.
What's hilarious about this is he feels so passionate about EB, but he also felt very passionate about E when Ewad, who said that his nickname was E,
Correct.
he said he couldn't do that because his Uncle George or
My uncle-
one of his
my
uncles
uncle
called him
used
E.
to call me E.
So you have ownership of a full letter? 2 letters, actually.
Who calls him E?
Hey,
One
My
guy.
uncle, but around these parts,
Yeah.
it's mine.
Right. Understood.
Let's go to Andrew. Andrew, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call.
Case, how happy would you be if somebody came in and all of a sudden they started calling, like it was a new head coach and they called him Case?
Yeah, but I already got to deal with that. Jim Palmer's nickname is Cakes. John Kime's nickname is Cakes. There's a million Cakes
I know, but
out
it's not
there.
as prevalent. Not as
Probably
prevalent.
true.
Jim
Probably
Palmer
true.
is a has-been. John Kime, not everybody calls him
Hall of
Cakes.
Famer.
Right.
Okay, most people call him John Kime.
Right, understood.
Okay, the EB thing is it's everywhere. It's making me crazy. All right, go ahead, Andrew.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, so I think the 899 yards for Gibson's a good bet. They're going to be running the ball and playing a screen game because the line isn't that good, I don't think. But I had a question for Cakes. Like, you might need to put a caveat on your bet for those fumbles because Gibson likes to fumble the ball. So do you think he's going to miss out on some of those yards?
Could
and
be
he
in
might
the
get
doghouse
pulled
after a couple
fumbling?
fumbles.
Yeah,
But last year,
if that happens, it
last year he
happens.
didn't fumble, right?
He was good with the fumbling last year.
Yeah.
You know what?
I think he
correct-
started out
corrected his
bad
issue.
and then corrected himself, if I remember
Oh,
correctly.
man.
Maybe
I
that
don't
was
think
2
he had
years
one
ago.
last year.
Maybe that was 2
Yes.
years ago.
2 years ago was the terrible
if
year.
Gibby takes a swing pass in the opener against the Cardinals for like 70 yards to the house, then I'm playing with free money.
Then you're good.
Remember what he did against the Bills a few years ago, where he took I believe it was a screen pass. He took it like 75 yards to the house. If he does that week 1, I'm going to start offering you a buyout, JP, for your bet.
2020, 0 fumbles. 2021, 5. And then last year, just 1.
Okay. I feel like it was early.
But this is what I'm looking at with Gibby on the running side. And I agree. They're talking about using him more in the passing game. And they don't have McKissick anymore.
Yep.
So he takes the McKissick role. He went from 4.7 yards carry to 4 to 3.7. That's not a nice trend line.
No, it's okay. I'm not worried about his rushing. I'm worried about the receiving. He's going to get me there on his receiving skills.
You're going to be bitter every time Dotson gets a wide receiver screen.
The rushing stuff is all gravy. I need him to do it through the air.